of Nepal. It has continued to provide substantial development cooperation to Nepal. The United Kingdom's valuable assistance has been utilized in line with the priorities and policies of the government of Nepal in critical sectors of development, including vital infrastructure, health, education, and telecommunications. Great Britain has been one of the major trading partners of Nepal. Nepal's trade with the United Kingdom is increasing. It is heartening to note that the annual British aid is on an increasing trend. Over the years, the cordial and cooperative relationship between Nepal and the United Kingdom has grown manifold to cover diverse fields. Growing people-to-people ties have contributed to make the relationship deeper and dynamic. These special events will, I believe, be a beautiful souvenir to the bicentennial celebration and a small contribution to reflect the friendly and rewarding relations of Nepal and Great Britain. I once again welcome you all to this special ceremony. Long live Nepal-Britain relations. I thank you all.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Now we present a welcome song in honor of chief guests of the ceremony, His Royal Highness the Duke of Gloucester, and all the distinguished guests. I request Mrs. Meera Rana, who is a veteran singer of Nepal, to present her welcome song.
सम्पूर्ण आदरणीय महानुभावहरुमा मेरो नमस्कार। आज यहाँहरुको माझ यसरी मेरो सौभाग्य यहाँहरुको माझ उभिन पाए। यो उभ्याउने क्रममा महामहिम राजदूत दुर्गा बहादुर सुवेदीजीले मलाई आमन्त्रण गर्नुभयो। त्यसको लागि उहाँलाई हृदयदेखि धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु र दाजुभाइ दिदीबहिनीहरूलाई म यहाँबाट अभिवादन गर्न चाहन्छु। नमस्कार। मैले जुन एउटा गीत गाउँदै छु त्यो राष्ट्रिय गीत मेरो पहिलो गीत हो। यो 47 वर्ष अगाडिको गाएको गीत यो यहाँहरूलाई म सुनाउन चाहन्छु। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Veera Rana, for your beautiful song. Now I have the honor to take this opportunity to request His Royal Highness the Duke of Gloucester and Honorable Member of the Legislative Parliament of Nepal, Dr. Rana Dewa, to inaugurate the photo and painting exhibitions. Now, I would like to request Honorable Member of the Legislative Parliament of Nepal, Dr. Rana Dewa, to deliver our speech.
Good evening. Chair of the ceremony and Ambassador of Nepal to the United Kingdom, His Excellency Dr. Durga Bahadur Subedi, Chief Guest of the ceremony, His Royal Highness the Duke of Gloucester, KG, GCBO, Right Honourable Members of the House of Lords and the House of Commons, Distinguished Permanent Under-Secretary and the Head of the Diplomatic Service of the Government of the United Kingdom, Excellencies the Ambassadors and High Commissioners, Excellencies the Mayors, Deputy Mayors and Councillors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, fellow citizens of Nepal, Namaste. It is indeed a distinct honor to be present at this special ceremony marking the bicentenary of bilateral relations between Nepal and the United Kingdom. I would like to thank His Excellency the Ambassador, Dr. Durga Bahadur Subedi, for organizing such an important and historic ceremony in London. The United Kingdom and the British people have long occupied a special place in the affection of the people of Nepal. It is the first country in the world with which Nepal established diplomatic relations. The conclusion of the Sugauli Treaty in March 1816 not only paved the way for establishing bilateral relations with the United Kingdom, but helped Nepal to be known to the rest of the world. The government of Nepal continues to engage with the government of the United Kingdom in line with its foreign policy priorities. The United Kingdom remains one of the top development partners with the annual British aid on an increasing trend. The United Kingdom has also been an important partner for trade and investment. Nepal's relations and interactions with the United Kingdom remains important for political and humanitarian reasons as well. With the opening of Nepal in the 1990s and the high mobility of the Nepali people, there has been a growing trend of people-to-people relations that have further consolidated our bilateral ties. On the side of even older history, the service and sacrifice of the Gorkha soldiers have contributed to deepening our relations. The Gorkhas have not only been recognized as a loyal, heroic, disciplined and dedicated army, not only in Britain but around the globe. I am proud to state that brave Gorkhas received 13 Victoria Crosses during the wars that have been fought by Great Britain to protect our freedoms and shared values. In this course, the Gorkhas have also won themselves a place in the hearts of the British people. I would also like to pay tribute to all fallen soldiers for their immeasurable sacrifice. Your Royal Highness, the exchange of visits of high-level dignitaries between our two countries have played a significant role in furthering our bilateral relations. In these 200 years of relations, there have been official visits of 3 Prime Ministers of Nepal to the United Kingdom. On a personal note, I would like to state that I am related to all 3 Nepali Prime Ministers who visited here. Prime Minister Janga Bahadur Rana, who was the first Nepalese Prime Minister to visit Britain in 1850, was my grandfather, 3 times removed from my maternal side. Prime Minister Chandra Samsher Janga Bahadur Rana, who visited England in 1908, was my grand-uncle on my paternal side. My own grandfather, later on Prime Minister Judha Samsher Janga Bahadur Rana, was also a member of his entourage on the second official visit. Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba, who was the 3rd Prime Minister of Nepal to visit this great country in 1996, is my husband, and I was also part of the entourage. Your Royal Highness, we the people of Nepal, Your Royal Highness, we the people of Nepal are a hardy and unique lot, as the British may have well recognized in the course of 200 years. We entered into a 10-year-long internal conflict and then resolved it by ourselves. The conclusion of our homegrown peace process was the promulgation of an inclusive and democratic constitution in September 2015 after 8 years of rigorous democratic exercise. I would like to state that the drafting of the constitution, to which I was party, was an inclusive, transparent, participatory and negotiated exercise, and that it was endorsed by over 90% membership of the Constituent Assembly. The promulgation of the Constitution marks a watershed in the peace process and political transition in Nepal. The Constitution of Democratic Federal Republic of Nepal institutionalizes an inclusive and democratic polity and ensures pluralism, rule of law, representative and accountable government, social and economic justice, and subscribes to universally accepted human rights and freedom of press. We have been successful in empowering people, especially women and the hereunto under or unrepresented minorities. Our Constitution is committed to democracy and the creation of a more egalitarian and inclusive society where every citizen is equal before the law. The achievements made so far may not be sufficient, but politics is a process, and we are headed in the right direction in a peaceful manner. I would also like to state that our Constitution is not a rigid document. Rather, it is a living and dynamic document and capable of addressing any remaining or new issues within its framework. We have already made 2 amendments and have proposed a 3rd one to accommodate the aspirations and voices of our diverse peoples. Your Royal Highness, we have unflinching commitment to promote and protect human rights as Nepal is party to the major human rights conventions. We regularly, actively and comprehensively participate in reporting to these international instruments and mechanisms. In this period of political settlement, we are in the process of working through mechanisms for reconciliation to establish sustainable peace. I would also like to reiterate that Nepal has a strong commitment to gender equality and the empowerment of women. Nepal has made significant achievements in the progress of women in parameters such as life expectancy at birth, access to education, and improvements in maternal mortality. I am happy to note that the United Kingdom has played a good role in enabling these changes. In the new constitution, Nepalese women are guaranteed minimum 1/3 representation in the federal and provincial parliaments and 40% in the local governments. I am proud to share that Nepal's current Right Honourable President, Right Honourable Chief Justice, Right Honourable Speaker of the Parliament are all women. Your Royal Highness, Your Royal Highness, though my country is one of the most beautiful lands in the world and my people among the toughest and most gentle anywhere, our terrain poses tremendous development challenges. We are conscious that economic growth is important to sustain peace and for the political maturity of a nation. Thus, the efforts of the Nepal government are concentrated on infrastructure and social development to make the country prosperous and self-reliant, to end unemployment, hunger, illiteracy, dependency, and inequality. Reconstruction of physical infrastructure and recreating livelihoods in the areas affected by the great earthquakes of 2015 still pose a challenge, even though the current government has now put the process on a fast-track mode. In the future, we may have to contend with natural disasters triggered by climate change and other causes. We have a very young population for whom we need to provide access to quality health services, education, and employment opportunities. We cannot afford to fail on any of these fronts, lest there is another unrest in this now already very uncertain world. While working on these priority goals with commitment, the current government is determined to implement the new constitution of Nepal by conducting local level elections in the near future. In our quest towards achieving the aspirations of the people of Nepal, we look forward to the unflinching support of the British people and government. In the past, the United Kingdom has proved to be a very good friend of the people of Nepal, and we expect the same, if not more, of interest and support to us in the future. For our part, we will always be a good friend, especially as we have aspired to the same political and human rights principle as that of your country. We look to strengthening and broadening our ties even more in the next 200 years. I wish the bicentennial celebrations great success. I thank you all. Jai Nepal, Jai Britain.
His Royal Highness the Duke of Gloucester to address this ceremony.
Thank you, Ambassador, for inviting me to join you on this very special celebration of 200 years of relationship between our two countries. I seem to remember that we got off to a rather bumpy start, and that at the beginning of the 19th century we sent a punitive raid on account of some slight. I can't remember the details, but I think it was soon forgotten. And that our army met your army, and there was a battle with perhaps unnecessarily high casualties. And it was sort of a draw. But the consequence was that both armies had a very high respect for the other army. And although we had come with malice aforethought, we retired feeling that the Nepalese were a jolly good lot, and we'd rather they were our friends than our enemies. And it turned out, not so long afterwards, when we had a little trouble with something that we refer to as the Indian Mutiny, that the Nepalese came to our aid and proved to be very reliable allies. And that started a relationship which lasted for a very long, still lasts to this day. And I seem to remember that in the First World War, there were no less than 200,000 Nepalese volunteers who joined the British Army. And I remember as a teenager that we had an old boy who worked for us who had fought throughout the First World War and had not been a casualty, unlike most of his friends. And he had a very high opinion of the Gurkhas. And he said that their expertise was to go out on night raids, which were basically intelligence gathering. And the idea was to bring back a sentry as a prisoner.